Social workers helping vulnerable people are increasingly being targeted by criminals in the Nelson Mandela Bay Metro. The Eastern Cape Social Development Department has today held a meeting to find solutions to this and other problems facing the province. Newzroom Afrika's Sipha Kema has more.
The Eastern Cape Social Development Department is under pressure due to growing challenges. Officials are struggling to address widespread malnutrition and extreme poverty. Despite no clear solutions being presented, the MEC says government programs remain in place to help the most vulnerable.
We've got a very good program that we have adopted of ICROP, of visiting all our local municipalities, working together. In that ICROP, all government departments are there to make sure that if one has been identified, if doesn't have an ID, because most of the time our people doesn't have identification documents, birth certificates for kids, as a result they suffer. So that ICROP is helping us that all of us as government were there. If we have identified a child with no ID or birth certificate, Home Affairs is there to make sure that that child is registered so that is able to access a grant. So working with the DDM approach of working with also municipalities.
The National Development Agency says interventions by it and the department are helping thousands of children suffering from malnutrition.
We do that by providing nutritious packs to children that are trapped in malnutrition. So far, we are feeding 4,800 children that are trapped in malnutrition. We're also working very closely with mothers of the children by assisting them in starting vegetable gardens and ensure that we link them with economic opportunities.
The department also faces a shortage of rehabilitation centers, with demand far outweighing the beds available. This has forced desperate families to turn to unregulated facilities where patients have allegedly faced abuse.
There are three that are government related, and we've got also 35 NPOs that are funded by us. We've got one in Nelson Mandela, that were taking boys and girls by groups, and we've got one in BCM, and we've got one in OR Tambo. As government, I think what is critical is for us is to make sure that our kids are not going to drugs.
Social workers on the front lines are also being ambushed by criminals during home visits or while returning to their cars. Some are too traumatized to return to work.
They stopped and we couldn't do anything because, we had noticed that those who are victims of these crimes, they tend to be on prolonged sick leave, affecting now productivity at work. So we about 18 months ago, we convened a session of all of the security cluster as a whole. And we invited CPFs and everybody, even active stakeholders in the communities, to find a solution. And out of that, the police and Metropolis, we agreed that per station precinct we must submit a schedule of home visits. We do that, but the problem is that now this escort of social workers is competing with other priorities.
Court cases have also been affected. As a result, missing reports and absent workers.
It makes us look bad in courts. Remember, everything that the social workers do, it has to be confirmed by a court. So if it's the removal of a child, a court must issue an order. Now, the problem that we have is that the social workers now end up risking, because there's a court date, the magistrate is expecting a social worker to appear in person and present the report.
Government insists changes are coming, despite no new strategies being introduced to fix the problems. But for many who rely on these services, the wait has already been too long. For Newzroom Afrika on Channel 405, I'm Sipha Kema in Kariga.